On August 6, 1221, Saint Dominic passed away, marking a pivotal moment in religious history. Born in 1170 in Calaruga, Spain, he dedicated his life to the pursuit of truth and the fight against heresy, laying the foundation for the Dominican Order. Saint Dominic founded the Dominican Order in 1216, emphasizing education and the preaching of the gospel. His vision aimed to combat the rising heretical movements and to promote theological study among the clergy. His travels throughout France and Italy took inspiring dedication as he preached against heresy and established communities of followers. His ability to inspire and attract others was a hallmark of his leadership. Saint Dominic's commitment was not just preaching. He instituted a rigorous education system, fostering the intellectual formation of his followers, which would become a keystone of the Dominican Order's mission. In his later years, Dominic focused on fostering unity and compassion among the diverse groups within the Church, promoting a message of love and understanding which was revolutionary for the time. On his deathbed, it is said that Saint Dominic offered prayers for his brothers and spent moments reflecting on his life's purpose, displaying his unyielding faith in God until his last breath. Dominic died in Bologna, Italy, where he spent the last years of his life building the community of the order he founded. His final resting place became a pilgrimage site for many seeking inspiration and guidance. He left behind a legacy of strength, compassion, and the pursuit of truth. The principles he introduced would influence the Catholic Church's approach to education and pastoral care for centuries to come. Saint Dominic's influence extended beyond his lifetime, with the Dominican Order flourishing and becoming integral in the spread of Christianity across Europe and eventually worldwide. His canonization in 1233, just 12 years after his death, reaffirmed his significance to the Church and marked him as a model for all priests in their ministry. The Order of Preachers, as the Dominicans are officially known, became key figures in the intellectual revival of the 13th century, significantly contributing to the emergence of universities. The Dominican Order adapted to the cultural and social needs of their environments, which played a vital role in their growth and relevance throughout history. Saint Dominic was also known for his dedication to the poor and marginalized, raising awareness of social justice issues, which remained central to the Order's mission. His emphasis on preaching was revolutionary, leading to the establishment of missions that aimed at educating both believers and non-believers, further expanding the reach of Christianity. Dominic's devotion to Mary, Mother of God, was significant in shaping the Order's spirituality, which continues to affect Dominican prayers and practices today. In the centuries following his death, Saint Dominic's life and teachings inspired numerous works of art, literature, and theology, embedding him deeply in the cultural memory of the Church. Saint Dominic's legacy is not just in religious practices, but also in how he emphasized the use of reason in faith, paving the way for a more educated clergy. As one of the founders of mendicant orders, Dominic influenced the way religious communities interact with society, urging spiritual living while engaging in social issues. Saint Dominic was known for performing miracles and healings during his lifetime, which have been a source of inspiration and devotion for many throughout history. The teachings and practices initiated by Saint Dominic continue to be reflected in various Catholic educational institutions worldwide, underlining the lasting impact of his vision. In conclusion of Act 1, the profound contributions of Saint Dominic to the Church and society illustrate a life dedicated to faith, learning, and service, shaping a legacy that endures in the fabric of religious history. In the early morning of August 6, 1221, the the sun cast a warm glow over Bologna, creating a sacred atmosphere as the monks gathered around Saint Dominic's bedside. Saint Dominic, known for his profound commitment to the gospel, had always emphasized the power of education in combating ignorance and heresy. During his life, Dominic traveled extensively, preaching to local communities about the importance of truth, love, and charity, which endeared him to many. Dominic's efforts led to the establishment of the Order of Preachers, commonly known as the Dominican Order, which focused on scholarship and preaching. In 1217, Dominic sent his first companions to various European countries, encouraging the spread of their mission and ideals. Dominic's dedication to prayer and study inspired many. He often withdrew to solitude, seeking God's guidance through contemplation. In his latter years, he faced the challenge of heretical movements, which he tried to address through reason and dialogue rather than condemnation. As he neared his death, Dominic's health declined. He expressed concern for the future of the order he founded. In his final moments, he prayed aloud for the strength and perseverance of his fellow brothers, showcasing his selflessness and commitment to their mission. Dominic's death was marked by a profound sense of loss, but also a celebration of his life and teachings among the brothers. After his death, Dominic's body was laid to rest in a tomb within the Basilica di San Domenico in Bologna, becoming a pilgrimage site. The rapid growth of the Dominican Order following his death demonstrated his lasting impact on the Church and society. Saint Dominic was canonized by Pope Gregory IX in 1233, affirming his significance in Catholicism and the broader Christian community. The emphasis Dominic placed on preaching and education had a lasting effect on the development of universities in Europe, particularly during the 13th century. Dominic's teaching methods included promoting engagement and dialogue, which laid the foundation for later educational reforms within the Church. His teachings also encouraged critical approaches to theology, balancing faith with reason, a vital doctrine for the Dominican Order. Through the centuries, Dominic's influence extended into the arts, inspiring painters and writers who depicted his life and the Dominican ideal. Numerous books and treatises on theology and moral philosophy have been inspired by Dominic's approaches to preaching and teaching. The principles established by Saint Dominic continue to resonate in modern Catholic educational institutions and social justice movements. As a model of contemplation and action, Dominic inspired countless individuals to live out their faith actively in their communities. On the fateful day of August 6, 1221, Saint Dominic breathed his last in a quiet chamber, the air filled with a palpable sense of spirituality and reflection. Around him, the gentle flicker of candlelight illuminated the faces of his devoted followers, mourning the impending loss of their beloved leader. A pivotal figure in the Catholic Church, Saint Dominic was born in Caleruega, Spain in 1170. His early education instilled in him a zeal for truth, leading him to embrace a life dedicated to service and community. His founding of the Dominican Order in 1216 was a response to the growing challenges of heresy, fueled by his belief in the power of education and preaching. Dominic's mission extended beyond Spain. By 1217, he had sent his first group of brothers to establish communities across Europe. Each journey was marked by an emphasis on truth and charity, uniting various regions under a shared message of hope and religious conviction. Saint Dominic's leadership style was marked by a commitment to scholarly pursuits and community engagement. He encouraged his followers to study theology rigorously, generating a vital intellectual framework that would influence generations of theologians and educators. Throughout his journeys, Dominic met with influential leaders and engaged in dialogue to combat misconceptions about the Church. His charm and eloquence afforded him respect across cultural boundaries, making it possible for him to unify various factions under the message of the gospel. As the days passed in Bologna, religious fervor filled the air. The sanctity of Dominic's work resonated profoundly with locals, reinforcing the importance of faith amidst societal challenges and laying the groundwork for future generations of Dominicans to build upon. Saint Dominic, in his final moments, expressed his love and concern for his brothers, reminding them of their shared mission to serve the Church and its followers. His compassion marked a defining characteristic of his leadership style, emphasizing love over dogma. Dominic's death was a profound loss for the Dominican Order, yet it sparked an increased fervor among his brothers to continue his work. The streets of Bologna were filled with mourning, and the deep sense of community became more pronounced as they rallied together in his memory. Following his passing, Dominic's followers venerated him, and a movement commenced to canonize him for his exemplary life and influence on the Church. His teachings inspired a call for reform and revitalization within the clergy, emphasizing the importance of education and charity. In 1233, just over a decade after his death, Saint Dominic was canonized by Pope Gregory IX in recognition of his unwavering commitment to faith, education, and service. His legacy officially became enshrined in Catholic doctrine and tradition. Saint Dominic's canonization led to the establishment of many Dominican convents and schools across Europe, emphasizing the importance of education in the Church. This marked a significant shift in Catholic education, incorporating a balance of faith and reason that was previously uncommon. Dominic's dedication to studying Scripture and teaching others also led to the development of a robust theological framework that became essential for Catholic education, paving the way for subsequent intellectual movements during the Renaissance. Saint Dominic's teachings on compassion and service inspired countless followers to engage in social justice efforts throughout the ages, focusing on the plight of the poor and marginalized, thereby establishing a significant legacy in Catholic social teaching. The Dominican Order became crucial in the establishment of several universities during the medieval period, further embedding the principles of education and rigorous debate into higher learning. Dominic's approach to preaching emphasized the need for reason in faith. This philosophical underpinning played a pivotal role in shaping Catholic dogma, influencing theological dialogues that would persist for centuries. Throughout history, the Dominican Order has produced significant theologians, philosophers, and mystics, contributing greatly to the realms of theology, spirituality, and church practice, further establishing Dominic's influence into the modern era. Saint Dominic's legacy is also represented through numerous works of art, literature, and architecture, inspired by his life and teachings, echoing his influence across various cultural platforms. Dominic's principles of blending contemplation with action continue to inspire contemporary Christian movements, urging communities to engage actively with societal issues while maintaining a life of prayer and reflection. In summary, August 6, 1221, not only marked the death of Saint Dominic, but also initiated an era characterized by unwavering commitment to faith, education, and social justice, transforming the Church's engagement with the world for generations to come.